Hi, welcome to Club Corky and happy December. We are talking about mom stuff this week and we're going to talk about the elf on the shelf. Whether you love him or you hate him, you want to see this. But first I should tell you that if you are really excited for Santa to come to your house, or if you have an elf that comes and goes in a different place every day, then you should stop watching this video right now because it's very inappropriate for you. However, if you are still with me, that means that you hide the elf yourself. Or maybe you have to help your mom because she hates the damn elf because he seems like he would be fun, but he turns out to be a horrible person. If you don't know what the elf is, it is a thing, you gotta know what the elf is. But anyway, I didn't have this when I was little. You buy this elf in this book, and when you read the book to your kids, the elf becomes magical. You give it a name, and then supposedly it goes home to the North Pole every night and tells Santa whether the kids were nice or naughty, and then each day he comes back and he's in a new place. However, I think the point of this was just to have him move every night. Some freak mom got the idea that the elf should actually do different scenes rather than just move from like one shelf to another shelf. And of course I am not helping that situation because I saw these pictures and think it's hilarious. So my elf doesn't just move, he has a new scene every single morning. Can we take a moment to appreciate my backdrop? Okay, it's not a backdrop. I hate the stupid Club Corky sign and the black wall, so I'm gonna have to rethink that. But in the meantime, because we're talking about Christmas, we get to have my newly decorated tree. The way it works with the elf for me is I really ramp up. On December 1st is when he comes. We've done the elf now for, I don't know, 5 years probably. And when he first comes, I'm really into it. Now my kids know that I hide it, so it's really just for my own benefit, and they would still be sad if I didn't do the elf, even though they know I'm the one hiding it. But I do real fun stuff in the beginning of the month, and then by around December 10th, 11th, I'm kind of like, this elf, I'm done with this thing. So the ones that I'm going to show you first are my favorites, and these are the ones that are always at the beginning of the month. First, we have the pooping on the cookies. Always real good to have them a little inappropriate. This one was a little hard because you had to stick a piece of wire in his legs so he would stay that way. So basically I ripped him. Then we have the naughty copier elf. He puts his face on the copier and I just made copies at work and laid them all over the floor. I was laughing to myself, loved it. Okay, I was really happy about this one. I came in like a wrecking ball. Came out and I mounted the elf on one of these ornaments that were hanging from our window and I was really pumped about it. Another one of my favorites was I used to have a bunch of pictures of my family on the wall. Now I'm over pictures. There's no pictures of my family, so I can't do this one anymore. But I had all these pictures on the wall and then elf replaced all the pictures with his own face, and I was laughing so hard when I was doing this the night before. This was a new one just from last year, the rock climber. I super glued peppermint pieces to where all the food is, and then I super glued him climbing the rocks. This backfired because the super glued broken pieces of peppermint were on my cupboard until at least March. Obviously I didn't try super hard to get them off, but it was still there. Then there's the classic food with elves. So a lot of years I do cinnamon rolls. The elf can be nice. He's not always making a mess. He makes cinnamon rolls and leaves a note for breakfast. Couple different times I've done powdered donuts where they are either scattered around on the cupboard or in a nice little arrangement. And then the elf, of course, has to make a snow angel with the powdered sugar. Another easy one is to buy food like a treat and put the elf inside the container. So done that with cookies, peanuts, donuts, always fun. I also like to make messages with food. One of my favorite food messages was last year when I spelled out I peed. Oops, I peed with peas. Usually I start out with the elf. He always comes on December 1st in our family, and I spell out I'm back or find me or whatever the first message is, so the girls can have some sort of message from him. Also, an easy one is to get cereal boxes and just cut out the face of either the Rice Krispie guy or the Lucky Charms guy and have Elf sticking out. One time I put him in the cupboard and they could barely find him. They were like 8 and 10. They could barely find him. So luckily I'd left, it was a Lucky Charms box. I had left one of each of the marshmallows on the counter, and then luckily that led them to the cereal, but they didn't find him so easily. There's also some high maintenance ones, and I would not recommend these. Whenever I do these, the next morning I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? These are a lot of work. Now I'm late for work because I'm doing some stupid elf thing. One of those was I moved their entire closet, the girls' entire closet, to the shower curtain. I turned our high top table and all of our chairs upside down and set the table with the elf in the middle of the table. A lot of work, but eat breakfast on the counter today. A fort? What the heck was I thinking? Turned all the furniture. I think my girls were into making forts at that time, and so it wasn't that odd that I had to turn furniture upside down and stack it on top of each other and make like a fort higher than me with the elf hanging down in the middle. It's pretty good, but I wouldn't recommend doing things that take a lot of work. This is probably a good one for this year, seeing as we're talking about building a wall to Mexico, but making a crepe paper wall. We have a hallway, and if you have a hallway, that'd be easy. It's short. You just have to have lots of short pieces of crepe paper that they have to break through in the morning. Or better yet, I think I'm gonna maybe do crepe paper blocking their doors so they have to break out of their room. Yes. Toilet papering the tree, that's not that funny anymore, but that's kind of an easy one. You just have to take roll of toilet paper and wrap it around the Christmas tree. What I don't have a picture of, but I did one year and I liked more than that, was the selfie tree. So I had the elf take a selfie, and then I printed out like 100 pictures of the elf and cut them out. Actually, this is seeming high maintenance. But I put them I put them in the tree, so the whole tree was covered with pictures of the elf. That was pretty funny, but again, unless you want arts and crafts, forget that. Somewhat high maintenance, but not as bad, is the emptying out of things. We've emptied out the spice drawer and made a little bed for the elf in the spice drawer. We have emptied out the door of the refrigerator and made a little bed for the elf in the door. We emptied out the blanket bin, and by we, I mean me. I'm the only one that does this. Again, making a mess when it's not necessary, maybe you could find an easier way, but these are, again, the things that I do in the beginning of the month. At the end of the month, some of the times I forget about the elf and he just stays in the same place. Or when they were a little bit younger, now they're like, Mom, you slacker, move the elf. Or when they were younger, they'd be like, oh my gosh, why didn't he go back to the North Pole? Is he sick? If you have animals, you could put it in the animal food. Ours have had a paper bag race where there's multiple animals racing down the hall. And again, I didn't think of that. But I did think of having gumballs be the finish line so that they get a little present in the morning. Took the Grinch stuffed animal that we have and had a silly string fight. Again, I wouldn't recommend giving silly string. Why would I do that? My girls don't have Barbies anymore, but if you have Barbies, I don't know if these are beer cans behind the Barbie. Probably not. I hope I was a little bit more appropriate than that. But Barbie and Ken went off with the elf. Animals could play a board game, or this one was a bad idea. I put the elf out with the gnome, and I always take a picture of the elf at night. There was snow on the elf in the morning, and my daughter saw a picture on my phone of the elf, of the picture that you're looking at. There was no snow. So she's like, how did you get a picture before there was snow. My bad. There are some ideas for the elf if you like doing that. If you think it's so annoying, don't even do it. However, if you think it's really fun, like I sometimes think it's really fun and I laugh about it, and even when my kids go to college, I am going to still do the elf for either my husband or from my own self, or just take pictures of it and share it with other people. Because every year, here is one that I haven't done. I want to. It's very, if you've seen Saturday Night Live and you love Justin Timberlake. Next week, we're talking about teen stuff, and you're gonna watch me learn how to do a Musical.ly or a TikTok finger dance. You'll see the whole process from my first, I have already seen it once, but I'm going to learn how to do it, record it, and you'll see the end product. Have a good week. Please like this video, comment on this video, and subscribe. My subscribers, I love you guys. And you want to see me next week because again, I'm changing your life with these videos. Are I not? Are I not? Am I not? Am I right? Thank you for watching. Have a good week and happy holidays.